You can see comedian Alonzo Bodden right here this weekend at Side Splitters Comedy Club.
That's right, but he's making a stop right here on the Tampa Bay's Morning Blend for some Friday laughs. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back.
Good morning. Yeah, it's good to be back. I like Tampa.
Yeah.
You know, I live in LA, so I come to Tampa to visit humidity.
Yes, of course.
Oh, well, let me tell you, that is a strong guest we have right now, let me tell you. Well, so other than the humidity, what is it about Florida? Why do you keep coming back here in Tampa?
Well, come on, this is the funniest state we have. Whether you guys like it or not.
We supply you so much material, man, all the material.
Florida's funny, but you know what's cool? You guys have a sense of humor about being Florida.
Absolutely.
So whenever I come here, I can always just look in the news and say, okay, what did they do this time? And talk about it. So yeah, I enjoy Florida.
Good. Well, we enjoy having you here. And you know, one of the things we're actually just kind of going over what you're working on and your background and stuff. And of course, you've done a few of the comedy shows that people see right now. I feel like comedy really is taking the center stage when it comes to these reality TV shows. Do you think that it has changed the face of comedy? Has it made it more accessible to people? Does it introduce comedians a little easier?
Yeah,
or what are your thoughts on that?
We are everywhere now. Back when I did Last Comic Standing, which was great. People like, what was it like doing Last Comic Standing? It was great, and I have tens of thousands of MySpace friends. So that was a good move right there. But
you sound like me on social media.
But no, the great thing was we kind of lived it. It was like a reality show. So people got to see what comics do when we're not on stage. But now with social media, right, with YouTube and Instagram and everything else, it's a constant content.
Yeah.
So people are seeing, you know, the funny, but they also see what else we do, what we think what we think about issues and so on. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's great. There are a lot of new outlets and formats for comedy.
And then again, so that sparked so many other shows that you see on television these days. So I feel like it's definitely getting more comedians becoming household names, which has got to be a win-win.
Yeah, it's great for the business. Whenever somebody becomes famous, it helps all of us. Like we all rise, you know. And then you have superstars now, people like Kevin Hart, who's producing a ton of content for other comics, and you know, Tiffany Haddish is starting to do that now. So both good friends of mine, neither of which has hired me. So I don't know what's up with that. But no, it is
Gotta get on
great.
that. Gotta get on that.
It's great for the business.
That's very cool. So as far as, you know, for people who've maybe never seen you live before, what can viewers kind of expect at your show here coming up at Side Splitters this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you, okay, here we go with the shameless plug thing. So
You're allowed.
Next Friday, I have a special premiering on Amazon, and it's called Heavy Lightweight. And people are like, what's heavy lightweight? Well, you know, we live in a time now where there's a lot of heavy issues going on, right, between, you know, racism and shootings and just a lot of real heavy stuff. And as a comic, you have to acknowledge the heavy. You have to acknowledge the political world, this and that. But then you also got to lighten it up. See, so what I do, so I'll hit them with some racism, then I make fun of Alexa. So it's like,
it's great.
Whoa, that's too much. I can breathe.
That's good,
and then you go into something heavy, they're like, wow, and then you lighten it up. So,
I like
you
that.
know.
I think you have to do that in today's society, because you can't sometimes not talk about it when these issues are so in front of everyone's minds these days.
Yeah, you can't pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people want a break from reality. So I try to do both. And in my live shows, I absolutely do that. You know, I'm going to tackle topics and people in the news, and then I'm going to lighten it up. So, you know, don't worry. You can handle it.
Get a little bit of everything, though. I like that. It complements it. That's good.
I do too. You know, I'm curious, you were talking about how the relationships are. You mentioned Tiffany Haddish, of course, and Kevin Hart. Those two in particular, you say when one person succeeds, everyone succeeds. Is it a competitive?
You think it's competitive, and then you find out it's not.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, everybody does their own thing, right? So it's hard to, it's not like sports, you know, like basketball. Everyone's playing by the same rules.
Playing the same game.
You know, playing the same game. But in something like comedy, I mean, you look at the different styles of different comedians, you know, how do you compare them and say one is better than the other? It's personal taste. It's also what jokes you pick that day. You know, it comes out, sometimes you can have someone you know is funny, but the topics, like, that's not what I feel like hearing about. You know, so it's one of those things like on late night TV, right? Like, so Stephen Colbert, you know, that's going to be Trump, 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 Trump. That's
Yeah.
his thing, right? And then you have like Jimmy Kimmel is a different show.
Yeah.
Which one's better? Well,
one do you want that
want to
day?
see? Which one do you want
Yeah.
to see that day? So, you know, there is some competitive. I mean, there's only so many jobs. There's only so many network
Right.
TV jobs and stuff like that. But yeah, you kind of find out you do your own thing and you find your lane, and you know, and you make people laugh.
We like your lane. Can we
My
say that? We
lane's
like
doing
your
my
lane.
lane's doing all right. My lane is good.
Well, you know what? You can join that lane. You can join Alonzo's lane right there. You can have some fun with him at Side Splitters, of course. That's where he's going to be this weekend. Thanks for stopping by again. This
Thank
was a good
you.
conversation. Will you come back next
Thanks for
year?
having me. Yeah, it's going to be humid, right? 'Cause I gotta,
Sorry,
you know,
sorry,
I'm gonna
buddy.
Eat some of that in the summer.
No hope. No hope for that one.